Hello, welcome back.
Hello.
I think the camera's going to pan around a bit. Do you need to move that camera? Yes, you do.
Hello.
Why that's been going in Nautilus, which still sounds like Nautilus to me.
Nautilus.
Still sounds like some kind of metal submarine to me. We've just been doing some Skype tests while you guys have been in the audience in your breakout sessions with Thomas. And Thomas is a guy called, runs as a moniker Toyfu on Twitter.
That's Toyfu.
And he has a great Internet of Things project called Sparrow. And we were at the IOD in Leeds, at Leeds Data Mill, probably about a month and a half ago. Was it a month and a half ago? Month?
I don't think it was even that long ago. I think it may have been about 10 days ago.
Oh, time travelling. Oh, awesome. That's great. Yeah, come to the Iceland.
It was rather light notice. We were invited up to Leeds to take part in their Sport in Numbers.
Right.
Which is looking at big data and how it can be used in sport. In January, they're actually doing culture in numbers.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting one to go there.
Shall we bring Annette? Would you like to have a chat?
Would you like to join us on the sofa?
Sure.
We do have people floating around in the studio space, and we do have.
And we have food being wheeled in as we speak. So
that's why we do it. Really.
yeah.
We do it hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
You will need that.
I will need
do you want me
this.
to hold it, or do you?
No, I can hold my own gear.
How old are you? How old are you? How are you? How are you? No, I would never ask that question.
I'm very well,
How many
thank you.
hours did you get yesterday, sleep-wise?
For the first time, I had quite a lot of sleep, so I think my brain is still adjusting to actually being awake. But I'm good. It's been amazing. Reykjavik is the most beautiful place ever. The conference has been really inspiring so far. So,
Could you see yourself being here for like a month or two at a time?
Oh yes, quite easily. Quite easily.
I woke up this morning and saw that dusting of snow. I thought, oh my God, that's beautiful. We were just talking briefly off stream about a conference that you did some live streaming at.
Yeah.
In terms of how you engaged a remote audience. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, it was not so much a conference. It was a play. Really.
Okay.
So we created, in the UK, there has been this initiative called the Digital R&D Fund, which came out of a collaboration between Nesta, which is sort of an innovation fund, the Arts Council England, and AHRC, which is a Arts and Humanities Research Council. They encourage collaborations between researchers, technologists, and cultural organisations to really start experimenting with what digital could mean. So it's very much an R&D fund, and it's really much about trying to explore what the future might look like. So very different things happen on that fund, everything from what's the future of the box office and CRM to really experimental work about how do you get audiences engaged through digital. And we did a piece called Better Than Life, in which we created an interactive live performance for an audience in the space and online simultaneously. So we told this story about this mysterious movement that could see the future and predict the future, which was a play, a sort of 45-minute piece, in which there was a live audience of only 13, but an online audience for up to hundreds, both trying to figure out what was going on, talking to different characters, influencing the story, making choices about the future of the movement. So very much a fiction of 45 minutes for two audiences simultaneously.
Wow. So did one influence the other in real time?
Yeah, absolutely. So
how
everything influenced everything.
How does that get communicated? Because obviously the online audience doesn't necessarily see what's going on behind the scenes, because there's obviously movers and shakers saying, hey, that bit's good, let's put that in. How does that work? Is that the challenge?
That is the challenge, and that's sort of what we've been experimenting with. So we had 3 live actors that were also in touch with each other and with sort of backstage. We had a live writer that populated the chat rooms, who was also a character in the piece. And then we had a sort of internal comm system. There was someone live editing the different streams together.
Right.
So we had a multiple camera stream. So the audience online could choose where they were, but also could watch a stream. So
it gets complicated.
It gets complicated, but also very, very exciting.
Of course, because it's kind of like you could go anywhere. Do you think
creating sort of like a little world for a small period of time?
Which is effectively, I presume, what cultural leaders try and do every single day. They go into the office, right? So, what was the feedback from that? Were they scared about the innovation of it all, or were they like empowered by it? Or?
I think it's a mixture. I think what's really interesting is sort of it's not so much a generational divide, but more of a digital literacy divide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think people less digitally literate people were suffered a lot from what's known as FOMO, the fear of missing out. So the fact that there is actually all this opportunity and possibility almost is overwhelming. And other people find it amazing and exciting and can't wait to see where it's going. Yeah, absolutely. So that's really interesting. I think the other thing that we learned is that the online audiences needed more time. So they have quite a lot of time to talk to each other, to reflect together, to have a point of rest before they jump back into this amazing reflection time. Yeah.
Right.
So that was one of those unexpected, but in hindsight, really obvious things where you sort of assume that because people are online, they'll be quicker because they click, but actually they're slower because it takes a lot more time online to take on
Find your frame of reference in that moment.
So that's very exciting. It definitely felt like a really fertile space for lots of new work to emerge.
And you're doing that again this year?
Well, we experimented with it this summer, and we're basically now in reflection mode. We're writing a big report for that fund with our academic collaborators. We've just organised a couple of weeks ago a salon about it with lots of people from the industry to reflect about what this could mean. So we're now slowly trying to figure out what we're going to do with it next year. We want to sort of build on it. We feel we've got a real insight into the dramaturgy. It feels like a new form almost, a new cultural space in which live performances can take place. So it's really cool.
Like watching the birth of something new.
Yes,
gestate
the birth
slowly
of a
the
grand
birth of it.
new thing.
Well, I'm noticing people are flying about. Just to finish up quickly, because obviously you've got to get fed. You need food.
I do.
Really busy at the moment. Coney is going really, really well. Like, what's on the roadmap at the minute? It's like, can't wait for this to start.
So literally on Sunday we had a first sort of preview performance of Early Days of Better Nation, which is a live theatrical show in which the audience builds a new nation each night. So the audience enter a country in ruins and get called by the World Council about how they are going to get this country back on the road. So the play takes place in 2.5 hours, but over 3 years, and they build their new nation. So we're working with UK Parliament on that. So we're really interested in having first-time voters do it. So we're putting that on in November as part of UK Parliament Week, and then in the UK it's going on tour in the run-up to the elections.
That's
so
very interesting.
April, May.
And very brave, actually. I mean, there's going to be a lot of nuances of things happening in that as people are building up this. It kind of feels like we're building a new world every day anyway. So it's kind of to visualise it with all the metrics as it's being built. Yeah. It's fascinating.
No, it's really exciting. It feels really, really good. We just, as I said, did a first preview the other day and it just felt really exciting. And we're scratching really early scratches of a new show called Remote in November at CPT, which are the first sort of strokes. We're investigating what it feels like to be in a system and
play around with that. Don't you? You love what you do.
I do.
You absolutely love every single day. You get to play in your own sandbox environment. So where do people find you on Twitter, online?
Mine is Annette Mace, at Annette Mace, just my name. Yeah. And at Agency of Coney is Coney's Twitter handle.
Perfect. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
And enjoy lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just managed to snatch a little picture.
Guys, I don't know if you want to spin over there, Ollie, and just show the queue of people queuing up for the most awesome food.
Yeah, let's have a look around.
It absolutely is an amazingly well set up and prepared conference. Harper have done an amazing job of making sure that people are fed and watered, and the food is out ahead of time, and CJ has managed to get me a plateful and I'm ready to go. I'm really excited about that building a country every day. But Annette was on about that. That's awesome.
I do. I love this. Once this kind of embedded social conduit is established at events. I think you can almost have a studio that kind of follows on ahead of time, so conferences follow it, or they follow the conference schedule.
Right.
So that you can have a co-creative piece that's been planned the week before, which can then come into the schedule, be introduced, the conference takes place, and because you come to these events and you learn loads of stuff, but we're creators, we're co-creators. It'd be great if there were projects that we could bring that were already active.
Well, I kind of feel that in the same way that you have like Olympic Games or, Olympic Games where you have
Extreme Olympiad.
Well, no, you have the relay race, don't you, where somebody hands on a baton, and in some ways there needs to be some kind of cultural exchange in terms of media assets.
Yeah.
So, like in the fact that today and yesterday we found out that presentations need to be in certain places in the tech team, taking some of those, we almost like need a wiki that has the video streams and audio and graphics and procedures and processes, and pass it on, make it open source. Because actually, anything that enhances this ability for people to pass through a conference centre, and you feel as a cultural director to be able to manage those assets in real time and have your guys back at base in your digital agencies sifting that stuff out, is what feeds into the overall conversation, because other people are going to see those tweets and those bits of video.
I think one of the things that Ava had said recently,
Ava Pascoe from Cyber
Salon, is this notion that as the matriarchs and patriarchs of the internet, that they felt that when they were young, they had the whole world open to them, and they contributed loads, and they taught, and they would take assets out and work with them. But the longer that it's gone, they felt that their generation's almost become greedy, and that they're not feeding enough back in.
Right.
And I think there's that sense that we need to keep putting the digital assets back in, and the structures and the policies.
But I've been really impressed with the six bloggers that we've got.
Yeah.
I mean, they're amazing. I mean, like, literally in terms of the next generation of audience developers, be it standaloners, consultants and independents. They've all got their own networks. Some of them who weren't bloggers but were bloggers, the way that they were kind of diary entries and writing things down and poetry and graphics. They're now, it's almost like this conference has given them a bit of bravery to go, oh, there is other people like me, and it's all right for me to put this on the internet now.
And this sense of what defines professional, because a lot of bloggers and the digital assets, I think we did cover about the texture of digital, and I think with your the new dial tone,
presence is the new dial tone,
which is that it is an intangible space that doesn't have physical structure, but it actually has digital construct.
Right. Wherever you're present, I mean, like just turning up at an event, geo checking in. I think this is an important point to get across. Is a lot of people say, why would I use Foursquare? Why would I use these geo check-in things? What is the importance? What is the relevance? What do I get out of it? I think we're so used to this kind of almost retail culture of going into a shop, buying something, getting a bag with the stuff in, walking out, that a lot of this digital stuff is, I don't see the impact. It's kind of, I know something's happening somewhere, but until people get some kind of haptic feedback from social, they're never going to really embrace it.
One of the things that I really like about Foursquare and Swarm as it is now is not necessarily that you meet up with people, is that when I check in, it shows me who's nearby and who's local and who's further away. And I can see those people that I've either met at conferences or that they're not offline contacts, but they're definitely online presences that I'm aware of.
Right.
And being able to just see those people, you don't get the sense, when you log on to Facebook, you get a list of people that might be in Facebook. Or, when you are on Twitter, you've got a Twitter feed, so you know who's active, but you're not quite sure how much attention they're paying to it. But with Foursquare, if someone's checked in or they're a member of the platform, they're out there somewhere.
Right. So they're present.
Yeah.
You can feel their presence, a bit like the Force from Star Wars.
And it's not about, there's not a chat channel, so it's not about chatting to them.
Yeah.
But I think if there was someone who was local, you do have that connection.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like when we went to Ghent. I went to Ghent and I said, I really like sushi. Does anybody know, I put it out on Twitter, does anybody know a decent sushi restaurant? And in the end, all I did is to check on Foursquare, and I found a recommendations list of places to eat by a digital agency. So this digital agency didn't need to collect all these food places, but they bought the best places that they love because they were Instagramming. I went to the sushi restaurant based on that recommendation, and then on top of that, I got in touch with the digital agency to thank them and say thanks for the information about that sushi restaurant, and then ended up having a meeting with those guys.
I think tying locations together, because that Ghent experience that we had, the conference was digital audiences and new technology. Now, the commissioning director for that, Peter Barry, is actually here at this conference.
Yeah.
And I have said to him, we're going to try and drag him into the conference. But I think one of the other things, and there he is, as if by cue. Let me see if I can attract his attention.
Yes, go and grab him. I'm just getting various messages from a variety of different people. I think we might follow them. We might take the camera over. We may go over this way. Have a seat there. CJ, have a seat with... Yeah. We're going to quickly jump into... No, difficult questions.
No, what we were saying, we were just talking about when we came to Ghent, we looked on Foursquare and found a local digital agency. And we're just saying with this Arts and Audiences conference, being able to connect up people who we've met with previously. So say, the reason we were in Ghent was because you invited us there. And here you are at this conference, and there you were walking in through the door. So... Peter, just tell the digital sort of who you are and sort of, if you can remember back there, a little bit about how that involvement took place in terms of Audiences Europe and that arts, it was new technologies for new audiences, wasn't it, I think?
It was, yeah. Do you want me to use the mic?
Yes, please.
Okay. That's a lot of questions, and, to answer in a couple of seconds of time. So my name is Peter Barry. I work with... a company called Cultuurnet. We're pretty much, you can consider us as an audience development agency for Flanders, northern part of Belgium. Kind of stuff that we're doing is very digital driven, not only. There's life outside of the internet. We're pretty sure of that. But we are absolutely convinced that digital technology has changed life dramatically and has changed the possibilities and the potential for audience participation dramatically. And that is why we met in Ghent. When we had,
you invited us to come and live stream for you, which we did on a very small...
Exactly, we had a sort of the state-of-the-art series of demonstrations
Which I think
of new projects.
I still have the live stream content from that conference, so I'll try and put that link in so that you can actually go back and have a watch of those sessions as well.
Yeah, good idea.
The one project I remember when you were sending me stuff was... Fleeg, the fly for the children. Yeah. Is that project still running? What sort of happened to it? Tell us a bit about that.
And there's
project.
An interesting development there, CJ. It's good for you to ask. One, it exists.
Yes.
What is it? It's a very, very simple thing. It's a little label in the shape of a fly, of an insect, graphically, of course. We use it since a couple of years to do a very simple thing, to show people, show families with young children that there's a very exciting offer for them. And very often they're not aware of it. And thanks to the internet, we have been able to produce also a website, a series of very interesting Facebook pages, all Twitter, obviously, the full Monty, and connected to our little fly. Now, the interesting development here is basically due to our involvement in Audiences Europe Network. Thanks to that, we got in touch with someone called Kim Hart. She's doing a series of projects. You know Kim?
We know Kim. We've live streamed from the British Arts Festival.
Exactly, and Kim got in touch with us because she wants to work together on a campaign called the Family Arts Campaign.
Yes.
It exists over in the UK, and we have plans to organise it on a European scale.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we would be involved in that. That's very exciting.
Audiences, Real Arts and Audiences, the British Arts Festival Association actually has their annual conference today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they will have a hashtag, but do look up British Arts Festival Association. I think they've probably got BAFTA 14 as their hashtag. I'll have a look and put it on, but I'm not able to be there because we're here.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, hopefully we'll follow that together, and we may be able to take this concept to the British Arts Festival, and maybe we can either have you in on Skype sometime, which is what we're going to go to now. We'll release you now to have some food.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter,
you're
for
welcome.
joining me.
Okay,
and I
cheers.
will see you around the conference, I'm sure.
Right, so you've got to run off now.
Have I?
Yeah, you've got 2 jobs to do.
Yeah.
Richard would like you to send that PDF slide
I
that you
can
haven't
do that,
done.
okay.
Do that instantly.
Yep.
And then you have to follow Adur
Yes.
upstairs to see Kamara in the main live room
Okay.
about presentations and things. So CJ's going to be off, and then I'm going to probably do the chat with Thomas, if that's okay. Yeah? Is that all right? Unless you can get back in time. All right. So we're going to try and pull somebody in, which is a little bit hardcore, to get all these things together. And a little bit... If you want to follow there. There. Cool. So it's very, very busy today. We've gone from... Can you follow me a second? Let me just grab this and come back. It's very busy in the Bloggers Lounge. The thing is, everybody has broken out for lunch, and everybody is charging all their kit. What time are we on now? I think we're on 12:20. Do we want to try and get a call going? You want me to be over there, don't you? Oh, you don't need me to be... Okay, cool. Right, so if we can flip this screen to the Skype, and what we're going to do is we're going to ring a guy called Thomas, who's at ToyFu on Twitter, who has a great Internet of Things project called Sparrow. And what Sparrow is this device, Arduino-based device, and the Arduino-based device, you can whistle at it, and it has various microphones and sensors on it, and as you the intensity of the whistle gets higher, lights light up on it, and various actions happen from it. Now, I don't know if I can hear Thomas very well, because of, I might sit next to here. I don't know if the camera can't move that far, can it? Let me just position this a little bit more. Thomas, can you hear me? Hello, Thomas. This is where we try and get the audio and everything working in sync, which is really hardcore to try and do at a conference, I'll have you know. So, I don't know if you're seeing the screen at the moment or if you're seeing the monitor, but just give us a second and we'll get things going. Thomas, let me know when you can hear me. Has he got any audio from me? Hey, Thomas. Hello. 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 Can he see us yet? Can he see us yet at all? Do you want to start the camera going? I'm getting distortion on this monitor. All right, we're just working it through. This is kind of hardcore because you have a mixing desk and you have a live stream, and then you're trying to bring in the audio Skype. You're trying to bring the audio Skype in to the box so that I can hear through the monitor and Thomas can hear me in a busy room over lunch. I wouldn't take that on. These guys are brave, and I can see Ollie's face is pretty stressed out about it. So we'll just work it through. It doesn't look like the camera is coming up. So what I suggest is unplug the USB camera and fire back up Skype again, because it looks like something else has grabbed it. And we're just going to do that. While we're trying to sort that out in the background, I'm just going to have a look at the schedule for the rest of today. So CJ has gone upstairs to talk with the tech team. They have a plinth upstairs for the main presentations. They have 6 bloggers who are going to be doing 7-minute, almost like mini pitches on stage about what they've learned in the last 2 days here at Arts and Audiences Reykjavik. But after lunch, before we do that, we've got some video again now, which is good. You got video now, Ollie? No, not quite. Wrong web. Select the webcam. There you go. Different one. Good. After lunch, we will be going on to Module 4, Bridging the Gap, which is going to be really worth watching. That's going to be on the main live stream in the main room from the directors of festivals. I mentioned that earlier on. And then after that, there is a performer from Oslo Atlas and Creative Culture Dialogue, a case presentation by Ingrid from the director of Audiences Norway. and the artistic director of Copenhagen Music Theatre. And Alan is actually dialing in via Skype as well. So that's kind of taking that digital audience and bringing them into a conference. The presentation will give an in-depth understanding of 2 different ongoing Scandinavian projects aiming at increasing knowledge about motivations and barriers among users and non-users of performative arts, and motivations and barriers among performing artists. So that's to look forward to this afternoon. And then there's going to be the breakouts. We did breakouts yesterday. We did 2 of those. We're situated outside of Re-Marais. There's various breakouts in the whole building on 5 floors. And so the whole conference is split out over lots of different floors. Our camera and the ability to move it into the room and grab that room is pretty awesome. We did test this earlier because we are efficient like that. But as you know, when lunchtime happens and everybody comes in the room and you add metrics of noise to it, everything goes out the window. And also we can't guarantee what's on the other end. So it'd be great to talk about Thomas, but I'm not quite sure if we're going to make it happen. But he does have this thing called Sparrow. If you do a search for Toy Foo online, if you want to bring that up on our website before we get going, like I said, we met him at the IOD in Leeds, at the data mill. And it's this little sort of Perspex box that's sort of sandwiched together with loads of LEDs and lights, with a little Arduino controller with a microphone sensor in it. And it's an Internet of Things device in that you can plug it into an internet connection. He has them various mapped out all over Belgium, in various different regions, even outside of houses, with signs pointing up to them, say, you know, whistle here or warble here. And it's a sensor project that he's just got off the ground. I think it's self-funded. I don't know if he's had any investment for this to happen. And I was really interested in showing it here at the conference because of audience development. If it could be used to maybe collect the sound of a noise in a room, or an audience clapping, or the audio levels of a room rising before the event happens on stage. So that's going to take a lot more work, but I wanted to get Thomas on because I think a lot of these practitioners and creatives who are building these sort of third-party projects on the back of Arduinos and Raspberry Pis don't really get the attention that they deserve. And I think a lot of cultural practitioners, in fact, it would be really good if Faith and Kath from the Festival Fringe Society talked to Thomas, because it's very much, this lab is very much where he needs to be. Leading thinkers and technologists, artists, audiences and digital communities. And something like this can be used to amplify various data to the net, to our Twitter wall, so we can see the kind of frequency of expectation in each room. And then that fires off different dialogues about other devices and sensors that you could have. Footfall sensors, for instance, is a project that I'm trying to bolt on to something called the Pi Street, which is about putting computer technology, very low-priced computer technology, into the high street with sensors on that people can monitor footfall walking past their window, and that feeds back into their marketing efforts. So I've rapid it on enough, and the tech team are running about. We don't seem to have a picture, so I'm just going to ask, just kick somebody's power thing out. I'm just going to ask Ollie where we're at. It doesn't look like we've got a picture from our side, but can we still, oh no, we've got something there. That's not working. I'm going to try and plug it in here. Is the extension not working? Okay. So maybe we just have that one so he can see me. Technical challenges. Okay. Yeah, it works locally, but it doesn't work remotely. All right. So you can't see this, but they are literally throwing together a camera. In fact, I wish I could... Ollie, can you zoom in on the screen and get that shot with all the audience behind, so people on the live stream can see where we're actually situated? We're in a busy dinner hall. It's just like cables and chaos everywhere in the Bloggers Lounge. And what we're really trying to do is get Thomas, who's in the middle of Belgium somewhere via Skype, onto the discussion. Can we try ringing him again? Yeah? All right, we're gonna try ringing Thomas again and see if this works. And hopefully he can hear me. That would be good. Here we go. Audio's going to be hot. The audio's going to be hot here. Thomas. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Yay! High five to the tech team. Sonic rule. High fives all round. Beers, crash them out. Thomas, forgive me if I can't hear you and the conversation is all over the place, but I don't know if you can see, but we're literally in the middle of a dinner hall with our Bloggers Lounge. But you are going out on the live stream, I believe. I'm just checking with Ollie that he is actually full screen on the Skype. Is that as full screen as you can go? And they can hear the audio in that stream? Fantastic. Okay, Thomas, introduce yourself to the Arts and Audiences live stream. What is it that you do?
Well, I'm a PhD researcher on ludic interventions for urban space. So my goal is to try to get people away from their smartphones, from their online communities, and go more into the real world, meet each other, right? And collaborate maybe, or make our cities more vibrant.
Okay, and why is that important to get people away from their smartphones? I agree with you, but what is it about the Internet of Things that excites you in terms of the way that we can get audiences involved, like natural audiences walking around in the street, without any worry about having to have the latest and greatest smartphone?
Well, I think, there's several factors there. I think, first of all, the Internet of Things is too technology-driven for the moment. So we're big companies try to get their platforms going, and what is often missing in this equation is the human. The human and creating engaging experiences for people, right. Getting people involved, and really grabbing their attention and doing something with this, and also the social aspect. So maybe we build things that are for individuals. For individual consumer, but the social aspect, the neighborhood aspect of the Internet of Things is largely forgotten.
Right.
And this includes also the inclusion aspect. Not everybody can afford a €600 smartphone. So if you really want to reach out to the larger public, we need some devices that are shared, that are that are there and that are physically in urban space, and that in the end can where everybody can gather around, basically.
Right. So give us a bit of an overview about your project and the name of it and how it works, and how it works in your neighborhood.
Yeah. So I've been doing quite a few different types of design project, because my practice is, as an interaction designer, I create things and then I test them. I go live, I go in the wild, and I go test these things out, iterate them, and try to really embed them in neighborhoods. And I did several things, from a musical interactive swing to some hacks. But my latest project is called The Sparrows. And what is a sparrow? Actually, it's a little device. You can see it in the background. I can bring it a bit closer. So it's a little object like this. There's some LEDs inside. You can see them. And it actually has a whistle detection algorithm. So there's a microphone, and it detects sounds that are...
I think we lost the connection. No, we didn't. I thought we lost the connection there for a minute. It's getting a bit sketchy, but we got you. So okay. we got microphone, follow on from microphone?
Yes, so the sparrow is attached to window panes of houses, of residents' houses. And there is a microphone that detects whistles. And so if people, passers-by in the streets, detect the whistle to the sparrow lights up and points are scored, which are visualized on the website. So the idea is to get sparrowers, I call them. These are the residents who volunteered to place such a sparrow at their window pane, at their house. These sparrowers, they are getting more active in the neighborhood with this sparrow. They are actively involved.
Yeah, I think we're having dropouts because it's lunchtime and the internet connection here at the conference. We're going to just see if we can get Thomas back. Well, I think he dropped out there. We're going to call him back, see if we get him back. But meanwhile, what Thomas was telling us about is that he's built this Internet of Things sensor, and around the local area that he lives in Belgium, he has this fantastic device where he's putting it on various different buildings around his local area. And I want to know, when we get back in touch with him, how he's actually started that conversation with those people. How does he actually approach that conversation and say, hey, I want to stick a translucent little bird on the side of your house? And what the relevancy is. I mean, is he using it as a bit of a conduit to talk to communities in the area? Is he kind of like, are those people empowered by it? I saw some of the graphics that he was doing where the sparrows were installed, where people have actually put a sign on their building saying, you know, whistle here outside the house, so that they get more points than their neighbours nearby. So we're going to try a reconnect with Thomas. I think we're literally having a few little issues. Let's just see if we can get him back. Hopefully Thomas won't be too mad that we dropped the call on him. But that's the way Skype goes. Nobody has built a brilliant Skype yet. Somebody really needs to look at some kind of load balance, cloud managed Skype. That P2P is all very well and good, but it needs to be super efficient. In fact, BAMuser.com and Skype need to talk together, because BAMuser have got a great system that when you move through different cells, we have him back, thank God. Thomas, we're having Wi-Fi connectivity issues. It's not you, it's us. It's not you, it's us. So hopefully you can still hear us. You were just telling us about the sparrow in terms of it being deployed in various places and people, you know, literally putting signs. I was saying that people put signs up outside of their window to kind of say that you can whistle into it. How do you even start having that conversation with people? How do you even, like, how do you go to them and say, I have this and it does this? Like, what's the kind of feedback do you get from people about Sparrow?
Well, once people generally really like it. They like this kind of how it shifts their perception of the neighborhoods as something playful, as something social, as something where people can.
Right. I think we lost audio again now. Yeah, you can't hear me. I can't hear you. It's breaking up. I think we're going to, Thomas, I think we're going to cut away. We're going to provide some links to the thing. It's really difficult for it. We've tried 2 different connections now, so I don't know if you can hear me, but we're having real trouble hearing you. Just to round up, if we can try again now quickly, just for another paragraph maybe. Give us a little bit of an idea of how many sparrows are out there, how far you are in the development of the project, and what's next.
So right now in a city in Flanders, there's 10 sparrows. We're gonna augment this number, and we're also going to go to other cities. So this is a perfectly portable project. We're building these sparrows with your local community in cities. It's with support from a local partner. And you know, my role would be to consult, to explain the technology, create the practices, the tactics, explain all these things, so you can roll this out in other cities.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
one final thing.
Kind of the future, like.
Well, I'll ask a couple of things while we still got a connection. In terms of our conversation that we had at the Leeds Data Mill when I saw your presentation, we had a chat about how audiences could use it, audience development in terms of inside conference centres. And I mentioned the whole idea of maybe some kind of indication of the levels of sound in a room in terms of people clapping. How difficult is that to put into place in what you have? I mean, it's an algorithm change, but how difficult is that? Oh, I think we've lost Thomas again, which is annoying. Oh, maybe not. We've got him.
It's
Yeah.
perfectly feasible.
I've got you.
Well, it's perfectly feasible. We, yeah, indeed, we need to change the algorithm, and there's some technical issues, but for sure, this is a perfectly modular project. We can extend it. We can create other types of objects, other kinds of sound algorithms, and place it also. It can perfectly work inside conference rooms or. So we can extend actually this to other types of public spaces, and conference rooms and inside of buildings are also perfectly fine.
Right.
For this.
Right. So in terms of the metrics that you're capturing from the audio input, how is that relevance? How is that relevance to a conference? What would they get out of that data? You know, like what could that be used for? You got any ideas of examples of, you know, certain areas being louder than other areas in the city? Can you give us an idea of, do they compete against each other? You know, like
right now we.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this of course needs to be checked on you know, like this is a design it would be a new design project with a whole lot of research going into, okay, how can we make this an effective tool for people like, you know, the people in the audience of your conference now. How can we engage the public more? But this is a new research project, so we should consider all aspects of it.
Right.
So I can't go really into detail of the how right now. It's certainly a possibility, and there's I think it's an exciting research area.
Yeah. Thomas, I really appreciate your time today. Sorry that the internet connection was up and down and conference-like, but that's what happens when you have like 300 people in a space. Can you just tell people whereabouts they can find the project online, and also your Twitter details, contact details?
So the best thing is to check for my Twitter account is Toyfoo, Toyfoo. There's also my website, toyfoo.com, which is the place to check out all my projects. And you will find links to the Sparrows project as well. So
okay,
that's the place.
Fantastic, Thomas. Sorry for the internet connections. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. All the best with Sparrow. See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
Well, all right, bye.
Woo! Well, we got through it in the end. God, blimey, that's always the way with Skype. Skype always falls over in a conference. You need almost like a carrier pigeon carrying the packets of Skype across the world. It's always difficult to get a connection in the middle of a conference. Right, so Kamara, how are you, darling?
I'm good.
Okay, where is CJ now? Okay, and I see. Okay, all right. All righty. Okay, fine. So let's have a look at the schedule. That was good to get that in. 12:45. I think I'm going to go and have some lunch because I don't think I can talk at you for another 20 minutes. That would be mental. So I'm going to ask Ollie to cue up some of his lovely music from YouTube that he has and take us into the main room while I consume something, and then we'll either flip back to something in the main room or we'll come back here to introduce you. But I suggest you get a cup of tea, get some lunch yourself, go to the toilet, relax, get your animals round you, get a cover over you, and we'll be right back to you in a bit. Cheers.